Freya was a hottie, like the hottest of hot things, so everyone was always trying to get the gods to give her to them in marriage, either by trickery or in exchange for services rendered. In a time of great strife, a giant drops by Asgard and assures them that he can build them a wall that will make Asgard completely impregnable by its enemies. The gods are, naturally, very interested, but the giant specifies that he'll demand a reward if he succeeds. He wants the sun and the moon, and to marry Freya. Poor Freya. The gods put their heads together, torn between the really attractive idea of a big old border war and the much less attractive idea of giving one of their own to a giant to marry. Loki comes to the rescue with a suggestion. Tell the giant he can have everything he wants if he can finish the wall over the winter with no help from anyone but his horse. Challenge accepted, the giant answers, and sets off to work, him doing the building and his super strong horse hauling the stone. Like unspeakably large quantities of freaking massive boulders to make up the wall. Well, with about 3 days left in winter, and all but a tiny portion of the wall finished, the gods are starting to get pretty worried, especially poor Freya. Then the gods get super mad at Loki for convincing them that this was a good idea. It's possible that more than one death threat was bandied about. Loki, though, being Loki, is all, Guys, I've got this. Your boy Loki isn't going to let you down. Trust me. So the gods decide that they can save the revenge killing for just a little later and let Loki go. Once released, Loki runs into the forest surrounding Asgard like a bat out of hell, but not like a bat out of hell, because that would just be weird. So that night, the tireless giant brings his equally tireless stallion into the woods to drag back the few more boulders that are the only thing keeping him from finishing the wall with time to spare. And then they saw a mare, and she was beautiful. She had the biggest, softest brown eyes they had ever seen, and a flowing white mane. Her legs were slender but strong, all four of them perfectly formed. The stallion took a step closer to the mare, and she bolted. Despite the giant's attempts to calm his horse, it broke its restraints and took off running after the mare. The giant spent all night trying to find his wayward horse, and when he hadn't found it a full day later, he gave up his search and returned to Asgard, conceding defeat. Because the gods of most ancient traditions are complete assholes, the giant earned nothing more than a quick death for his labors. Loki remains AWOL for quite some time, and when he finally limps back to Asgard, he is heavily pregnant. Yeah, not long after that, he gives birth to a horse with 8 legs. The modern reaction to that would probably be along the lines of, dude, that's not right. But Odin's reaction was more like, 8 legs, huh? Bet he goes super fast. And thus did Odin obtain his legendary steed Sleipnir.